And even in late colonial Africa, like the last white farmers in Rhodesia, um, uh, were being driven off their land that they'd been farming for a long time, for generations, and they didn't understand why these workers who they thought were their friends, they thought they were paying them, supporting them, and they thought they were one big family, were attacking them. So uh, the assumption of a relationship sometimes gets ahead of the actual relationship in both directions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like, are you perceiving reality, right? Like, I mean, these slave owners, they're like beating slaves to within an inch of their life and can't understand why they don't love them back. You know what I mean? So, like, I mean,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
right. So, I mean, I think part of it is just like, are you deluded or not, right? Like these people
but
were.
that can go the other way as well.
It could go anyway, right? I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
no one way. This is just
Yeah,
like, this is a universal human thing that does occur. So
yeah.
I don't look at it as directional. The only reason we talk about directional in this context is because typically it was directional, one directional, and I think that's the part that people don't want to acknowledge. Um, Black people never set up a whole system of ranking human beings based on their skin color and then tried to deny other people's humanity based on that hierarchy. But racialized white people did that, and they spread it around people who could be categorized as white. That is a thing that never happened in the reverse. And to try to we can't ignore that. And I feel like a lot of times people want to have this conversation by ignoring that reality. And if you do that, you're never going to understand, um literally never going to understand what people are dealing with. Like, it's just
But I
impossible for
mean,
you to get. Yeah.
with the Arab conquests, they did the same thing in both directions. They enslaved sub-Saharan Africans, and they enslaved the Christians. Now they coded Christians would be Europeans at the time. They didn't use the racial context to differentiate like was done in um, the Atlantic slave trade, where it was like you say, a racialized system. But that thing of hyper exploiting populations and using some pretext is hardly novel, um, and has
Agreed.
kind of gone a lot of different ways. I'm sure there were plenty of Moors who were black who went along the European coastline and enslaved white people. And that's not to say that it's it all. I validate your grievances to a great extent, but since about the 1960s, it's definitely reversed to where white people are being victimized by black people in America more. And I would ask you to hear that perspective as well.
I mean, I'm open to hearing it, but I don't agree with that. Okay. I mean, I certainly, if that were reality, I'd be happy to agree with it, but I'm certain that's not reality. So like, I can't. Okay. But like, I will listen. I will listen to you try to make that case. All right. But that's going to be a very difficult case for you to make. Okay. Because there's a generations long history with power behind it that it's going one way. So you're going to have to explain the reversal. No one I've spoken to has ever been able to explain that whatsoever.